Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to log in and get settled. I just retweeted that out. So I'm going to do, sorry for all of you who, we've been off for the last month, having to finagle some stuff on the back end of our program. And I'm a little off my game today because I got to get back into the routine. So let me see if I can get us back in. So good evening, everyone. Welcome. If you are tuning in for the first time, this is the La Maison de Rouge Monday night weekly live broadcast. I am your host, Lucy Sweetkill, one half of the duo that is La Maison de Rouge. A little bit about who we are. LMDR is dedicated to expanding the BDSM experience by discussing, educating, and informing our audiences about the intersections of kink, wellness, sexuality, spirituality, and social activism. We aim to create a safe space for discussing these topics, as well as providing an avenue for our guests to share their stories and experiences. Thank you all again for joining us. Tonight, our guest is a Dallas-based professional transsexual mistress. Terms like mistress, dominatrix, and pro dom seem very broad-reaching when trying to describe her. Kinky Minx, Latex Queen, Titillating Tease, transformation artist, Slut Mentor, and Sissy Trainer seem to be much more fitting. Please welcome pronouns she, her, TS Mistress Mia. Welcome, Mia. How are you?
I'm okay. Hi, Lucy. Hi, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. You're actually our first guest of 2021. So thank you for being our first guest.
Oh, goodness.
All right. So let's get right into it. One of the first questions we always ask is your origin story. So how did you become a professional dominatrix? What kind of started everything? And feel free to go as far back into like your kid memories, into kind of getting into BDSM and all of that.
Nobody wants that, Lucy. Nobody wants that. Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll start when I was a young person, college age, right? Well, back when I was young, this thing we call the internet, didn't exist. And what did exist, maybe in its infancy, was something like so slow and so unbearable that, you didn't want to use it. Everybody thought it was dumb. It's like the 14.4, modems and things, you get some kind of weird pixelated stuff. It was just not even worth messing with. So, we've come a long way, and that's for sure. But back in the day, before this internet, there were, if you wanted to do kinky stuff with other kinky people, or if you even wanted to just look at kinky stuff because you couldn't see it in a newspaper or on the television, you had to kind of go to one of these stores, and it was real skeezy, like real, filthy. Somebody's getting sucked off in the back. I don't know. But they would have these magazines in there. And magazines, used to be a big deal. Maybe younger people now don't know it. But, magazines were huge. To see your fantasy, your idea that's in your mind, that no one around you shares, and you feel wholly alone in the world, to see it in print, to see it on paper. I can't tell you the thrill of seeing for the first time the cover of a Skin 2 magazine. Let me tell you, it will rock your world if you've never seen anything like it. So I'd say that was my first exposure to fetish, latex fetish, in a way that wasn't dirty and wasn't, awful. It was glamorous and beautiful, and everything that we think of today as latex. They were doing it late 80s, early 90s, but magazines.
Yeah.
So I think that's where some of the first experience would be. And let me tell you something too. I think people are spoiled. I sound like an old person, talking about those young whippersnappers. Because I think you're fucking spoiled because shit. It makes me so mad because if you wanted one of those magazines that were wrapped in cellophane, you couldn't even open the magazine up. It was $30. It was $30 to buy that magazine. And for a college kid, I didn't have $30, but I found it. I got $30. You cherish it, You look at every page, every image, read every word, So I think that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I think that's, if you want an origin story, I'd say that's about the best I got.
So then that was like, so you were like into kink. You kind of searched this thing out and you were into it. And like, how did that transform into a career for you?
Career. Oh boy. Well, it is always, I'd say, less of a straight road and more of a one of these. And so how I did it is probably not how anyone else would. But, I had a friend that was into doing sex work, and she asked me to come basically be her roommate, And I was like, well, whatever. And then so the time went on and different things. I never really had sex for money or anything. That's not what I did. Mm-hmm. So it's like, but anyway, just over time, I became what you see today. There's no real easy way to say it. There's been a long, hard road. How about that? Anybody that thinks it's easy because they watch some Netflix show, they need to wake up just a second, because it's hard and you better love it and it better be part of you all the way down, because if it isn't, you won't last long. You'll get into it, you go like, oh, this isn't for me. Oh shit, I spent $20,000 on something. I spent $50,000 on something, that you may not even like, you may not even be into it. Maybe you're into the passion of it, but the real job, the actual job of it, the actual fetish of it, you need to have, it needs to be in there, deep down, Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could have showed up for this interview with sweatpants on, but, that's not me. It's not how I roll, Lucy. Yeah. That's not how I do. So, these things they have to be in you. And so if they're not in you, just quit, just stop, just don't do it anymore. Just go do something else. Not trying to be rude, but I will be rude.
So it was a roommate that kind of got you into this, and were you just like open to trying, or were you like, wow, this is something that, I want to do?
She was just scared because she was just all by herself, and she just wanted a roommate, someone to be around, someone, and if something went wrong, I could, call somebody or come in there and do something. I don't know what. But, we've been friends. We were like friends for like 20 years. So. Childhood almost. So. She trusted me like no one else. So I find that trust is important no matter what you do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially with our work, people need to have trust in you. Trust you're not going to be drunk or high or incompetent. There needs to be a level of trust, because they're putting their lives and their livelihoods in your hands, So I've taken this seriously from day one. I mean, absolutely dead serious. When the session starts, I'm all work. I'm all, all serious. But I'm pretty nice though most other times. But
So she introduced you. Did you kind of know this is what you wanted to do, or was there like all kinds of other work that you were like, you tried, didn't like, and like, what made this stick for you?
I think it's just always been. People hate that answer, but I can't imagine never not doing this job. If I'm not doing it in person, I was doing it in my head. It was always there. To where when I did start doing it professionally or whatever, it wasn't. There was no stumble. It was just, and I was in the club scene for many years also. So, I was exposed to all different kinds of people, and all kinds of, it was a gothic club scene. So, what's funny is I never really considered myself gothic, but maybe I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
Labeling myself has never been something I'm very good at. So.
So would you be open to telling us about some of your first kinky experiences, personally or professionally?
Yeah, I think like most doms or whatever, you always have this idea of things, and then, through experience, through good experience, through bad experience, because you get both, I think you kind of shape yourself, and you don't let things happen maybe that have happened in the past. You make sure that those things don't happen in the future. You don't go around toxic people, the different stuff. So I'd say experience is everything, even bad experience. And so I kind of got off. I'm just rambling.
I asked about some of your first experiences, if you're open to talking about it.
Or sexual experiences. Well, awkward, wrong, regrettable. I'd like to forget them. I think I had these ideas of being submissive to someone, and I think those ideas, how do you say it? How do you say it, Lucy? It's putting a round peg in a square hole. It's just not gonna fit. So I try a few bouts with submission, and I'm really bad at that. I am not good at it at all. I'm the most horrible one you'd ever meet. I will make you cry. It's like some kind of defense mechanism or something, I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. Amateur psychologist, maybe. But.
So then you kind of started with some like sub experiences and realized that wasn't for you, it seems like.
Yeah, there were more.
And then when did you start doing some more kind of dominant top experiences and realize that it was way more connected with you?
Right. And I guess where it is with me, and maybe not with most people, is I never found myself sexually attractive. I never thought of myself attractive as a guy or as a boy. I always thought it was really ugly. So I did not find myself attractive at all. And so, that's maybe some of where all this comes from, because my idea of what was attractive, was not even in my gender. It was this whole other thing. And so, I don't know. I feel that, I've lived probably kind of a crazy life. And so to sum up some of it in a few words is extremely difficult for me.
Well, you're welcome to take as many words as you want, because I think a lot of people are very fascinated by your story and your brand and your career. And, I think a lot of people can feel very inspired. I think the more non-traditional journeys many of us go through, I think are quite inspiring for many people. So we'd love to hear it.
I would hope that I could inspire someone, although my journey won't do you any good. Won't do anyone else any good. It's been a long, hard, crazy road, let me tell you. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But you know, I also wouldn't trade it for anything either. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what the inspiring part, though, is like, it seems like, you know, what you're conveying is that you had a really hard journey. And I think that even while having a hard journey, you can come out of it feeling very blessed and grateful and wouldn't trade anything with it, you know?
I guess what it is, you know, I don't know what the old adage, how it exactly goes, but, you know, there's more to learn from losing, you know? And don't be afraid to lose. If I were to give any advice, I've lost a lot. So, just go on and do that. It'll make you a stronger person, I promise.
So would you mind if I asked about your transition?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah. So you mentioned that, you know, you never felt attractive in your male body.
Right.
And then, you know, you made a journey, to a transformative journey. Do you feel that your journey, like becoming a dominatrix, helped with all of that as well?
You know, it's difficult. And you know, I guess that's why some of these interviews are tough for me. Because talking about myself is just not something I normally do. You know, and much less about me. Always. And I guess that's sort of my kink too, is that, you know, I don't really talk about myself too much, you know, because, you know, nobody wants to know my problems, right? But, you know, maybe with something like this, my problems could help someone else. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I do these things, you know. Maybe it'll help somebody, you know, realize their dream. But yeah, so the transition, that was a rough go. And I think anybody that's attempted any of this, especially being 6'4", because I am tall, you know, maybe it doesn't show there, but I'm a tall one. And so I'm 6'4", 200 and something pounds. So, you know, it's unusual, I'd say, to see someone as big as me, you know. And so I do have that sort of inner voice about, you know, I'm too tall to do this, or I'm too big to do that. And, you know, I try to shut that up every chance I get. But as far as transition goes, I took hormones for like 3.5, you know, close to 4 years. And they made me crazy as hell. I was so crazy. And then so, you know, I almost didn't even recognize myself some. So it was, and they made me really fat. Does all this fat make me look fat?
No, so, you look great.
And then so, but yeah, so they did put some weight on me. So, and nobody around me could stand me because I was like this pregnant woman, just enraged constantly. So clients loved it, you know, the ones that are into that, but you know, everybody else around me they just couldn't stand it. So I sort of backed off of those things, and you know, some of the changes that the hormones did, you know, were permanent. So, you know, I have a more feminine physique and, you know, different things. And I don't care what you do, you're not getting rid of your voice. You know, whatever your voice is, if it's, you know, you're not getting rid of that. So, you know, you can have a feminine voice if you're born with it. But, you know, so I don't know, transition, awful. Awful, totally awful. And, you know, I don't really have a lot of peers. There's not really a lot of people like me necessarily. I'm not a drag queen. I'm, you know, there's a lot of things I'm not, you know, and so, but there's a lot of things I am. And most of those things that I am, I don't really have anyone similar, you know. I don't have a similar beast that I know of in the world. I don't have one. Maybe you know one. Maybe there's one in New York. I don't know.
I would love to hear. So what do you define yourself? How do you define yourself?
Well, that's difficult. I'd say it's less about being a woman or,
Yeah.
more about the fetish of femininity, of the fetish woman,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
About, I want a vagina and big tits. I mean, that's not that's not me. It's not what I do. That's not anything. But it's taken a long, hard bit to get to that point, to accept what I am, which I'm still not sure. So, but this fits the best. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does. It seems like you're really an embodiment of your fetishes and BDSM and your kinks.
Yeah, I'm made of them.
Yeah, fully formed.
I'm full of them. And they change. And so there's a madness in it,
Yeah.
I think most people that you talk with that do have a fetish, that are serious about it, there's a little something in there that is maybe obsession. I don't know the right word. Maybe a little OCD-ish something, or split personality a little. I don't know. Like I said, not a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Amateur psychologist maybe, but I've spoken with a few, and they don't know either. So whatever this is.
Well, I think it's really an embodied form. I think many people who have like these deep fetish, like someone who has a latex fetish, right? Yeah. Where it's so at the forefront of their mind, and it's so intertwined in their being, in their sexuality, which is why it's a fetish, right? That's like what they need.
I can't imagine sex or anything in any way, shape, or form without latex involved. It's not sexy, it's not sex, it's not anything. It's amateur 12-year-olds in the playground bullshit. So I feel like what I do and the people that I session with, I feel like it's an elevation, of sex and sexuality. So, it's the way I feel about it. And the same way, it's easy if you think about high heels, right? It's easy. A girl looks good in high heels, right? Makes sense. You almost, like, you don't want to have sex with her unless she's got the high heels on, right? It makes her into something. It makes her into this object, this thing that she wasn't before she put those high heels on. So, you can think about it how you want. So, but yeah, fetishism, whatever. I can't imagine my life without it. It's part of me. So it's this job that I do, this thing that, I call myself a mistress, a dominatrix. It just sort of allows me to be what I am. To be, you too.
I love it. I think that's really, really beautiful, and your analogy using heels, it's very true. There's a transformation. There are many people like, I have a sub who's a whip fetishist, and beyond just pain, like seeing a woman hold a single tail, seeing a woman use that single tail or, a bullwhip, that's his sex. Like you are penetrating him with the tip of your whip, right?
Yes.
And so sex can be defined in so many different ways. So I really love how you explain that, because it really resonates with so many people.
I hope so. I hope some of my crazy can resonate a little. So. But yeah, you know how it feels when you put them heels on. You're a bad bitch. And nobody's getting in your damn way.
I know there's that beauty in kind of zipping up a cat suit, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, that it's such a it's just the material, but it's so much more than that. You know,
yeah, like who is Superman without his cape, right?
yeah.
He's that's Clark Kent. Nobody gives a shit about Clark Kent. They want Superman. That's who they want. You know, F you, Clark Kent. You're boring. Get out of here. Yeah, they want Superman. So, you know, let's give it to them, right? That's why I like it so much. It's so transformative.
Yeah.
But what's inside, outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be a superhero, you know? This stuff stops bullets. Come on.
So it seems like you definitely have, we'd love to know the things that you're very much into. When people reach out to you, why are they reaching out to you? What do you enjoy? What do you specialize? What do you put out there?
Reach out to me. Oh, goodness. Well, I'll tell you one thing they don't want. Can I tell you this? What they don't want? Yeah. I'll tell you what, Lucy. They don't want reality. They don't want it. They have reality all day long with their wives bitching at them or husbands or whatever. You know, they get the sweatpants all day and flip-flops. They don't want that from me. They want something else. They want what I have to offer, which is pretty intense, I'd say. Walking through my, seeing me on this is one thing, but, walking through my dungeon door is kind of something else. But yeah, so what do they want? I don't know what they want. I know what they don't want. They don't want reality. And as a matter of fact, the more I can take them out of whatever shitty reality they're in, the further I can get them away from whatever their daily life is, the better a job I've done. Yeah. You understand? Yeah, me and Mistress Tracy, we have a saying. It's let them get it out. Just let them get it out. Whatever it is, let them get it out. Whatever it is. If you want to sit here and talk to me for 3 hours, let's get it out. Let's do it. You know? You want to be bound and gagged and hung up by your ankles and have the shit whipped out of you? We'll do that too. If that gets it out, let's do it.
I love that.
Yeah, well, that's what we do, isn't it? That's what I do.
I love that. I love that saying, just let them get it out, because I think in a lot of ways that's what's happening, right?
Yeah, you got to get it out. Well, you can't get it out. Where are you going to express this stuff? And who are you going to express it with? Someone like me, someone like you. We serve a purpose in society. And I don't care what anyone else says. We are valuable. Sex workers this work we do is extremely valuable. Yeah. And I think, some of the demonizing of it and different stuff, I wish that could just stop. I wish they could just stop it. And honestly, mind their own damn business. There's been this phenomenon lately of people minding other people's business, and I don't get it. I don't understand it, because all I've ever wanted to do my whole adult life is just mind my own damn business. Leave me alone. I'm gonna mind my business. I'm gonna do me. You do you, and everybody's happy, right? Yeah. Somehow we've gotten away from this idea, and I would like to get back to where people just don't care what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, or any of us, really.
Yeah.
And I'm going on a tear, sorry.
No, I love it.
Okay.
So what are some of, in this kind of giving them, when you kind of take your subs to a different, place, right? What is a place you like to take them? Like, what is something that really connects with you?
A place that I take them. Interesting. Well, I'd say it's different for everyone. A sissy wants to go somewhere different than maybe a slave. You
Yeah.
know, I see different types. I really do. And I try not to label them too much. But, you know, as for where I take them, it's where they need to go. You know, I've been doing this long enough. I kind of know the second I see you. I think before maybe I was a professional or whatever, I was in the club scene, like I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
In the club scene, I really learned to read people. You know, it's the same way if you see a crow and then you see a peacock. You know the difference, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. But there's a type of people. There's, you know, the idea that we're all somehow the same is stupid, and shut up, because we're not. I'm not like you, Lucy. We're not the same thing. We're different things, I guarantee it. I'm a peacock. So, you know, it's just I think recognizing where somebody wants to go, knowing what they're looking for, and giving it to them in a way that doesn't seem like you're doing that is the genius of what it is that we do, or what I do anyway. I try to get in that head. You know, 2 words out of your mouth, I already know it. Coming up behind you and whispering some nasty shit in your ear, you know. it's gonna get you there, you know.
Yeah.
Ah.
Would you you know, do you have a style? You know, this is a question a lot of people, you know, everyone has their own style, their own flair, right? That they bring to their work, they bring to their domination. Would you say you have a style that's that people would recognize, that you would love to like put out there and describe for folks?
Style, like what do you mean a style?
Like, you know, some people are very sensual and soft and flirty, and others are much more, you know, heavy protocol, very stern. And I think a lot of us are very versatile, but
Yes.
is there like a certain style you feel like you kind of put out there that connects with other types of subs?
Right.
You know,
Well,
not all subs are for everyone either.
right. Yeah. Exactly. We're all different, and you know, even, you know, let's say I do 3 different sessions, you know, in one day, and you know, I'm a different person in each one of those sessions. So I prefer to be lighthearted and fun and flirty. You know,
That's a good style.
I prefer that, but you know, I can be other things too.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as one style, one thing that I do, I wouldn't say that there was one thing. There are things I prefer, I guess.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know, my demeanor, my everything depends on the session that I'm walking into. And I think anybody that's done this for any amount of time knows what I'm talking about. You know, you don't just stomp in somewhere and kick somebody in the nuts. I mean, that's not how it works. And if you're doing that, you need to just stop. Stop. You know, they're giving of themselves. They're trusting you to guide them on a journey that maybe they don't even know what the journey is yet. You know, and so I think encountering things that you enjoy, things you don't enjoy, maybe half the session I'm nice to you, and the other half I'm a raging, I'm not going to say the word, a raging bitch. How about that? I will use some bad words. I will do it. I know it's be all prim and proper and such.
So I think you described your style. I like, you know, you mentioned just like, you know, you like kind of being a bit flirty, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So
yeah, well, I'll tell you why. It's because, you know, I am tall. I'm 6'4", you know, so there is a little bit of, you know, they're scared a little bit because I'm bigger than most of my clients. You know,
Yeah.
I'm tall. So they want to know that I'm not just going to walk in and stomp them. I would never, by the way. But yeah, I'm always very gentle at first. Always gentle. And then as things progress, I can get less gentle. So,
Like
it's always good to start from somewhere,
I love that key word, at first.
Yes. We'll see how long it lasts, right? Goodness.
Well, we did discuss something before we went live around, the pandemic and, your Dallas base, your Texas base,
Yeah.
and wanting to discuss your business during this pandemic and like how many of us have had a very shared experience, and obviously this has been hard for many people. I'd love you to just talk about your experience during this time.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a thing, and I hope that everyone out there would know that they're not alone, and that we've all experienced maybe some of this in a different way, but maybe the same, in that you don't know what the right thing to do is. You don't want to do the wrong thing. You don't want to be stupid and go to a restaurant and then just kill your whole family. I mean, nobody wants this. Nobody wants this whole thing. And the truth of the matter is, and I'll tell you the truth, I thought that I could just do, when this first started, end of February, I thought that I could just do sessions with masks. Oh, we'll just clean, we'll just do masks. I saw 3 clients in one day, long time, 10-year clients, each one. And each one of them, it was the most, I don't even know, it's awful. Each one of them had the saddest puppy dog eyes you've ever seen. They hated the mask. They hated it. And after each one of those sessions, and these are people I've seen for a long time, they know me, I had a panic attack, like just some kind of weird nervous breakdown after every one of those sessions. And because these people that should have been okay, in my mind, they should have been okay with wearing a mask. They were not okay with it. They were not okay. And so I knew right then, after 3 sessions and 3 nervous breakdowns, because me, I give everything. I give it all. Every session, I give everything I have. I'm there with them. And so I think right then and there, I knew, and I talked with Mistress Tracy, and we decided, and Mistress Vivian, that we would, because we work together, as far as the way you work with other girls too. But yeah, we decided that it just wasn't going to be a thing that we could do. And I think it was heartbreaking, and it was a kick in the guts, because I was just catching my stride, doing really, really well. I mean, probably better than I've done this whole time, the whole time I've been doing this, which is 10 plus years. I hate to put a number on it, but probably closer to 15. But yeah, so, it was just people that should have been okay were not okay. And it disturbed me very deeply. It hurt me because I had to stop doing what I love. And I have to tell people no for sessions. I have to tell them no to this day. I have to tell them no. And it kills me. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. And so, but what can I do? What can you do? What can any of us do?
Yeah.
So do we pretend this shit doesn't exist? I mean, do we what do we do? So I think a lot of people, I want them to know that they're not alone with these ideas of, you know, because I want to get back to normal as bad or worse than anyone. I guarantee. I guarantee sitting around here is not what I want to be doing. I want to be, you know, living my life, having fun, dancing around in latex with fun boys and girls, and, you know, having a good time. But here we are. So I don't know. Awful. So how's the pandemic going? Shitty.
Yeah.
As bad as it could go, I guess. I can't imagine it any worse, honestly. I guess I have my health.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
it's a hard time for many of us, especially because we don't always get the support and help, especially from the government, right?
Oh, no, not from the government, not from the media. You can't listen to anything any of them say. And certainly not from a politician. Oh, goodness. Don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so where do you get truth? Where do you hear real people talk? Where, you know, how do you know what others are thinking? You know, you can look on some message board online, but that's garbage, you know? So that's what I always loved about my sessions too, was just the brutal, absolute brutal sledgehammer honesty between us, you know? I could speak with them and they could speak with me, and no filter, you know?
Yeah.
I think I miss that the most about sessions. And I think that's what this pandemic has taken from me and from others, is that we don't have that banter. We don't have that rapport anymore. And so, you know, I'm ready for it to be over. Can it be over? Can it just be over, Lucy?
We're getting there slowly but surely. Hopefully, we all have to be a little hopeful, right? That's all we can be.
I'm trying.
Yeah. I would love to open it up to questions from our audience.
Sure.
And so everyone out there on all our live platforms right now, feel free to type your question in type your question in. If I feel like it's respectful, I will bring it up and put it on the screen. So please ask respectful questions.
Stuff. I want to hear what kind of nasty shit they're saying. I can only imagine. I won't blush. I have on too much makeup. You want
Luckily, we've had some really great comments where we've had a comment that says a tall glass of cool water, legs for days.
For days. I'm 6'4". Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah, you've got legs for days.
There's so many of them. There's so many. Okay. I don't know how to do it. Wait, is this it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to let people sometimes take a second for people to ask questions, but I do, one of my questions for you is, you know, from someone who myself, and this is a conversation I've had, especially with doms who are kind of fall under a fetish umbrella. So as we know, a lot of people do talk about Asian fetish as much as people have a fetish for, you know, TS mistresses or TS content. Has that ever been, how do you feel about that? And has it been a good thing for you? Has it been problematic?
You mean like how, I don't know what you're getting at exactly.
Well, do you feel that people fetishize you in a way that feels not connected, right? And an example of that is, you know, being an Asian dom, I use it part as my marketing, but there's unfortunately a line that gets crossed where sometimes someone just sees me because I'm Asian and they're not really seeing me. They're just seeing the fact that, oh, well, you're an Asian dom, so that's what I'm looking for, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, there is an element of that, I suppose. I wouldn't be offended, you know. It's nothing to be offended about. I'd say that if you put yourself out there, it's kind of why I don't really try to do too much of the, oh, you need to call me this special thing. You know, it just confuses people. It's you know, I try to be as simple with things as humanly possible. So if they want to say you're an Asian dom and they want to come see you and they want to, you know, pay tribute and have a 3-hour session, I don't see the problem. I mean, unless you're not trying to portray yourself as an Asian dom.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't see the trouble. You know,
Okay.
I'm white. So,
well, I'm saying
I don't know.
I'm saying for you as a TS mistress, because
that.
Yeah, there is a lot of uniqueness
Okay.
in being a.
I don't think about it often, honestly. So, it's. I feel like it's a non thing. Is that the right word? You know, it's just a non thing.
Okay.
You know, now the difference between me and maybe you is you could tell when I get excited. You know, I can't not, you know. So, but you know, with girls, it's a little more difficult to tell if they're excited. But I'd say with someone like me, it's much easier. But yeah, the fetishizing of transsexuals or whatever, you know, it's a fad. I'm sure it'll come and it'll go. So I don't know. I'll still be here no matter what.
Yeah.
They can
So it doesn't.
Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. So it seems like it doesn't bother you. Do you see it as something that you really push out there marketing wise as an?
No, I don't. I mean, you know, I suppose if I were someone else, I'd be, you know, hanging my junk out all over everywhere. That's not what I do. It's not. But yeah, you know, so it's much less of that, I'd say. But now, you know, guys do want what guys want, of course, but that's just them. So, I find that they're very pleased with everything I provide. You know, it's less about once you get a blindfold and a gag and a hood on somebody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know.
Yeah.
And I say this too, for anyone, that there's a thing, a good book cover will sell a book once, you know, like the looks get them in the door, but it's everything you do when they're in there with you that keep them coming back, that build a relationship, that make this thing work. So maybe they do come to see you because you're an Asian dominatrix and they want to see an Asian dominatrix and whatever. But anybody with any experience at all knows very quickly and none of that means anything. Once that hood and gag and whatever else goes on, it doesn't matter if I'm a dinosaur behind, you know. And there's some of those out there too. There's like furries and I mean, there's wild times out here.
Very much.
More power to them. But yeah, so I think it's much less about that.
Yeah.
Once the blindfold goes on, you know, I could be purple. It doesn't matter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have a great question. What advice would you give your younger dom self who's just starting out?
I would tell her to hang up on time wasters immediately. Don't play with them. Don't toy with them. Don't, you know, be funny with it. Just hang up. Don't feed the troll. Just don't do it. So yeah, I would tell her just to hang up. Just stop playing with them. Just hang up. I know it's funny, but you know, just don't. Because they don't ever stop. I have some time wasters that I fucked with 10 years ago, and they're still, you know, they still contact me. So. Yeah. Because I fed them. I fed the troll, so don't feed it. Okay, next question.
To deal with panic attacks after bad sessions or difficult times, do you ever meditate or pray?
I'm not religious, so there's no praying. But meditation, honestly, meditation just pisses me off. It just makes me angry, and I don't know why. I just can't do it. I would love to be able to just sit down and meditate and become one with myself and the universe, but I just can't. So the best way to deal with a panic attack is to have it, know that you're having it, have it, have it big, baby, go all out, and then get over it. Get over it and move on. But have it. Don't try to hold in a sneeze, you know?
Yeah.
Let that sucker go. Let it rip. I used to know some girls in high school. They would, achoo. And like, girl, just let that sneeze go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Don't try to not sneeze.
I actually like what you're saying, because there is a lot of truth into just embracing those kind of bad feelings, those bad situations, so that you can move through them and move forward. Sometimes our resistance to those things are actually what causes us more suffering, because we're spending time resisting it as well, instead of going with it, right?
I think it's probably natural to want to resist, facing these demons or whatever they are. I don't want to face them, but there they are, just the same. So,
Our next question is, what's your biggest pet peeve in session and out of session with your subs? So any pet peeves, work-related
pet peeve, I guess, when you contact me and it's not for a session, when you just want to hang out and be friends, it's less fun for me than you might think. Because I might be in the middle of something and I see that it's you, and I see that I have a session with you and you're a client of mine, and so I stop everything I'm doing and pick it up and look. And that it doesn't take many seconds, but it does take some seconds out of my life to look at your, hey, what's up? So, that's a pet peeve, I guess. Unless you're booking a session, shut up. Goodness.
I think that's a very valid point, because it seems like you give a lot in your sessions, as you mentioned. And so you see that someone is reaching out that you're connected with. So whatever you're doing, you stop and you focus, and then you realize, oh, wait, it doesn't pertain to anything important. And so you've kind of just halted everything to have to go back into whatever you were doing, which can take a little focus away.
Like, hang on, Mom. I know the surgery's going on, but hang on. Robert says, what's up? I don't know. It's just weird. Contact me if you want a session. Let's do that, because I'll get you. But, if you just want to chat, that gets kind of weird, because I don't want to be your friend. I'm your mistress. We're not friends. I mean, we are friendly, but, it's better that way, because I'm never going to call you. I'm never going to text you. I don't even know how to call somebody. I don't do it. If you've been in this for a while,
Yeah.
You don't call them. You do not, because you know who's going to answer.
Yeah.
Not them. So it's best to just not.
So our last question for tonight is, do you have any rituals to get ready for a session, and what do you enjoy for your personal aftercare?
Before a session, I always take a long, scalding hot shower. I love it. I don't know why I love it, but it's just, hot shower is so good. And then I feel a certain way, and then I put on makeup, and then I put on my outfit and bang on the hair, and we're ready to rock, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't spend 3 hours getting ready. I don't get intricate with the makeup. I don't wear false eyelashes. I just don't do it. But I do have a ritual that I do every time. Hot shower, makeup, outfit, hair. And then we rock. So, and I try to be ready 15 minutes, 25 minutes before every session. I try to be ready to go.
Yeah. How about any personal aftercare things you do to kind of come down after a high of a session or just in between your play as well?
Yeah, I always have kind of a treat for myself, like in the refrigerator. I'll have like, I love Gatorade. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in that stuff. It's all kinds of bad, I'm sure, but you know, I run a lot. So, you know, it helps me. And so after a session and you've been sweating and, you know, latex is not breathable and you're just hot and sweaty and whatever. And so I get my Gatorade, right? And it's cold and it's amazing. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And then I go take another hot shower and peel off the latex. So
yeah,
that's what I do. So Gatorade, it's good stuff.
I love it.
It's what mistresses crave.
Well, I love it.
If you give yourself a reward, you know, not just for the session, not just for a job well done, not just for blowing somebody's fucking mind for 3 hours, you know, you'll also reward yourself with one little thing. Could be a Reese's peanut butter cup or, you know, some little treat. And I find that works really, really well for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I do. So.
And I think that's it's a good thing to have something that like helps, that, you know, that you're treating yourself nicely afterwards.
Yeah, do that. Why not? Nobody else is going to do it. Oh, this world's a big middle finger to you. So, you know.
So for those of you who have joined us, please, if you look at the bottom of the screen, and for those who are going to rewatch this, we have Miss Mia's website, Twitter, Instagram, and FetLife. So go out there and follow and retweet and do all the good things, as well as Miss Mia's website if you would like to book a session. You know, we want to say a big thank you, Mia, for being on our show.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I guess I should say just real quick, Lucy. Sorry. I'm actually not doing sessions right this second, but me and Mistress Tracy Dallas and TS Mistress Vivian here in Dallas, we're going to get together and we're going to find a really cool place and we're going to open us up another dungeon. So
awesome. Yeah.
They're really, really cool people, and we're going to make a really cool space, and I'm excited for it. So. That's
really awesome. What is there like a possible date that people should look forward to?
End of April or April-ish, you know, somewhere in there. We're going to maybe sooner, but I don't want to say sooner because they told you to sooner. Well, you said March, so I'm not saying March. I'm saying April. And it could happen.
Awesome.
So, very
yeah, that sounds really amazing. You know, I hope you all the best. Obviously all of us are hoping things get a lot better so we can go back out there and fly our kinky freak flags and do some fun kinky things, because I think a lot of us are aching for it. So much of it.
It is effective, isn't it, Lucy? It's so
So, Miss Mia, thank you again for joining us on the show. Thank you all for joining us, and have a great night, everyone.